Times now. Action begins here.
This is the Thar desert of mighty Rajputana. Arid, relentless, formidable and unforgiving. Home of the proud warrior clans of Western India. A land where wandering bards till date recount tales of valor, glory and acts of reckless gallantry, infusing the blood with a surge of adrenaline. The warriors yearned only for victory or death. Glory was assured in any case. In these modern times, the vast expanse of the Thar is still home to the search for glory, but of a slightly different kind. The Rally of the Desert Storm, one of the toughest events in the Indian motorsport calendar.
सर एक कार में आग लगी है तुम वहाँ पे पहुँच गए हो हाँ सर पहुँच गए जी सर 128 कार है ड्राइवर सेफ है जिप्सी में आग लग गई
The arena may have changed, but the adrenaline surges and recklessness still abound. Today, I'm standing in the company of a bit of history. This is the railroad that connects the towns of Nokra and Bap in Rajasthan. Running parallel to this railroad for 48 kilometers is one of the most legendary special stages in the history of Indian rallying. A special stage fondly called the Thar Express. We are in the middle of covering a bunch of mad hat adrenaline junkies who stand at one end of the mighty Thar desert, take a royal battering at the hands of the elements and race the clock every day. My name is Abhishek Naren Singh. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the sand-cloaked, U-rutted madness of the 13th Desert Storm Rally. And because we're all going to need it, Jai Rajputana.
Really hot this year compared to the previous years and no rain, so we are expecting really soft sand. The stages have now doubled, so we are pretty much going back to survival. It's not going to be easy to predict anything.
The technical scrutiny and ceremonial flag-off of the Desert Storm Rally took place in New Delhi. On the starting grids across categories were some of the most illustrious names in Indian rallying. 3-time Desert Storm and 9-time Raid the Himalaya champion Suresh Rana driving a Grand Vitara in Team Maruti colours. Local Rajasthan boy Abhishek Mishra driving the fabled Power Pig developed by ace tuner Philippos Mathai and Team Speed Sport. Also driving a Gypsy in Speed Sport colours were the reigning Raid the Himalaya champions Amartej Buwal and Nakul Mehndiratta. The second Speed Sport tuned Grand Vitara was piloted by veteran driver Harpreet Bawa, co-driven by one of the country's best navigators, Ashwin Nayak. In the moto category, the pack was led by reigning Desert Storm champion, former Raid the Himalaya champion, and the only Indian to ever complete the resolute Dakar Rally, C.S. Santosh. This was going to be a tough fight. Formalities complete, it was time to hit the road. And 600 kilometers of liaison later, We were in Sardar Shahar, and in the pitch black night, the Desert Storm began. The night stage of the Desert Storm Rally is one of its most challenging features. Things got tougher this year owing to the increased competitive stage length of 150 kilometers. So much so that the drivers were allowed to refuel and take service in the middle of the stage before carrying on.
स्टेज कैसी थी? काफ़ी ख़राब थी वैसे, सैंड काफ़ी थे इसमें और एक दो जगह हम थोड़ा सा आउट ऑफ ट्रैक भी चले गए थे, तो इसमें हमारा कम से कम 2-3 मिनट वेस्ट हुआ है.
This is the last bit of the stage where my trippy conked off with the battery. So yeah, I'm just trying to fix that right now.
Because of the cars ahead of us, there was too much dust in the air, so we missed a right-hander and a left-hander. Twice we got lost.
We're standing at the service park of the 13th Desert Storm Rally, and Suresh Rana, who started second, has overtaken Sandeep Sharma and exited the DZFZ first. Behind him was Bobby Buwal, followed by Harpreet Bawa and Abhishek Mishra. The fight is on. As the rally cars sped off once again to tackle the dark and cold desert night, word of the casualties started coming in. Team Maruti's Sandeep Sharma had a leakage of fumes in his Grand Vitara after his car went into a ditch, and he became one of the first ones to fall in the 2015 Desert Storm. More would follow. The storm would claim its scalps. Team Speed Sports Power Pig, in the hands of Abhishek Mishra and PVS Murthy, who started third on the grid, were fastest in the night stages and clocked a time of 3 hours, 7 minutes and 44 seconds. Behind him, not used to eating dust, was Team Maruti's Suresh Rana, who was first out of the stage but was not as fast as Mishra. Third out of the stage was the second Speed Sport Grand Vitara in the hands of Bawa and Nayak. All of them seemed equally shaken. Former Desert Storm champion Gaurav Chiripal made it out of the stages, but he also suffered a leakage of exhaust fume in his cabin like Sharma and came out short of breath.
Gaurav had sort of a health issue, so we stopped for about 7 minutes. Got exhaust fumes in the cabin, so naturally breathing becomes a little difficult over 100 kilometers, 150 kilometers.
The 150 kilometers in the beautiful desert night had not been kind. Out of the 48 extreme vehicles that took start from Sardar Shahar, close to half that number failed to make it out of the stages.
Stage was a killer for most of the cars. 15 cars dropping out of the almost about 48 cars. It took a start in the night, but then I think maybe the fight is there now between the top 10 cars, because the rallies just started, and people falling apart in the very beginning stage is something which is disastrous. But then yes, that's how rally goes.
The morning brought with it the first special stage of the 2015 Desert Storm that ran in daylight. It was a rerun of the night stages and had been completely dug up by the rally cars. The multiple tracks were going to be misleading, and the terrain was going to be unforgiving.
Desert has been changing a lot this time, because we thought it will be harder surface, but then we had a lot of sand yesterday and it was hot and the tires were not gripping.
It was nice, wide open, and this year they had a little bit of difficulty in it because we went through some small dunettes, so it was nice and soft, and apart from that it was really nice and flowing.
One wrong move at the Desert Storm Rally can mean a ticket back home. And after the 150 kilometer morning stage on day 2, a 206 kilometer transport later, just outside of Bikaner, Northern Motorsport had more in store for the drivers. More in the form of 7 kilometers of quick shifting sand and grueling dunes. And the wary tightened their seatbelts once more. And it was in the wily sand that Suresh Rana showed his class. And as his Grand Vitara cut through the sand and flew over the dunes, he took the lead from Mishra, who got badly stuck in a sand trap and was awarded a 3-minute penalty. Bawa and Nayak also had their share of digging into the sand, but still managed to hold third place.
The second stage, I'll say it was very tough, very battering for the car. We just managed to come out of it without any problem. That's all I can say.
We just tried forward, reverse, nothing happened. Then we took that additional help, which costed us 3 minutes plus the 4 minutes what we stood there.
The first climb was, I think, almost a 60-degree climb, and so we had to really build our momentum to climb it.
Times now. Action begins here.
I managed to climb all the 4 gates which were to be cleared. So for me it was very interesting because I got stuck once and then I had to take a reverse. But I managed. But there were many people who got a lot of penalties because they could not complete all the gates.
But it was CS Santosh whose Suzuki hot-knifed its way through the butter that were the signs of the Thar. The ace rider made short work of the 7 kilometers of dunes and rut, and watching him at it was pure ecstasy. It was as if the sands bowed and made way for him and said, "Here rides the might and experience of a Dakar finisher."
Times because the cars had gone through and it was churned up, so it was really soft, so you had to carry momentum around all those places. So yeah, that was the bit that was fun and also challenging.
Now, one of the many things involved in shooting a rally like the Desert Storm is finding the right way into the stages. Because what we do is we go right into the middle of the action where the cars are probably going flat out so that we get you the best of the action. Now, we seem to be a little lost here because we were supposed to hit a time check behind, but it's not there. There are no marshals. So we spoke to a few locals, and they told us that there's a bunch of cars ahead, and this is something we do on a daily basis while covering a rally. We take leaps of faith and go into the hinterland and on almost no roads, and we get lost a few times every day. But that's the beauty of covering a rally like the Desert Storm, and that's why we do what we do.
There were 2 stages between Bikaner and Jaisalmer, 2 very sandy and very fast stages. Stages that don't seem to end. Stages that wait for the driver to make a mistake. Stages that wait and then pounce when one is least expecting it.
रेडी सर सर एक कार में आग लगी है तुम वहाँ पे पहुँच गए हो यहाँ पर पहुँच गए बस रेडी सर 128 कार है ड्राइवर सेफ है जिप्सी में आग लग गई है
As we made our way to Jaisalmer, I was wondering about how each year the Desert Storm finds novel ways of taking its toll. The thought was intimidating.
Like I was telling you earlier on the show, getting lost is a way of life when you're covering a rally like the Desert Storm. And today, once again, we're completely and blindly lost. And there's a vast expanse of desert in front of us with a track. And we've asked a few locals, and again, we've taken a leap of faith in the hope that we find a marshal car before we hit the Pakistan border.
The golden glaze of Jaisalmer brought with it 3 competitive stages of 71 kilometers, 38 kilometers and 70 kilometers in length around Birmar, Turkon Ki Basti and the Sam Dunes. It was a mix of dry lake bed infused with huge sandy sections. Only 25 rally cars took start from Jaisalmer, and they would be going all out. Time needed to be made here. The revs needed to hit the limiter, and they needed to hit constantly.
70-kilometer stage, I think almost about 20 to 25 kilometers was total flat out because of all straights. Very tricky in between because of the rocky section coming in and the narrow patches. The organizers threw in a lot of challenge for us this time in the second stage, that is the short stage. In fact, that's about a 40-kilometer stage, which had a lot of sand. In fact, it was more like an off-roading. I was wondering if our cars could make it through, but then yes, we did.
Since the start of the rally, this rally has been very, very unpredictable. We've exchanged leads quite a few times now. Like if you'll ask me, every morning first stage we've done good, and then next stage we lost whatever we've gained. So what can I say? Just that that fight and that eagerness which is there in everybody to be the best is taking the motorsport to a new level.
In the middle of the third stage, as we stood waiting for the cars to pass and were helping marshals get a car out of the sand, the mighty Thar showed us a spectacle that leaves many shaken. It's only once adversity and anomaly pass that one realizes how lucky they were to have experienced it. So lucky that while going past us, the twister took with it the dust which it had thrown on the lens of our cameras, so that its parting shot would be clear. Well, almost clear. Inside the stage, however, luck had run out. Suresh Rana's Grand Vitara suffered an engine failure and the veteran driver had to drop out of the Desert Storm for the second time in a row. Those who did manage to get out of the stage had their own stories of how their luck almost ran out.
Multiply your regular speed breaker into 3 times. It was that big, and he gave me the perfect call. It's approaching, but reason being we had our exhaust failure. The exhaust was so loud that I couldn't hear him, and we flew over it and we landed like 30-40 feet away from that spot.
2 बारी टॉपल हुआ है, तो आप देख सकते हैं इसमें पूरी की पूरी ये जो बॉडीज है पूरी बेंड हो गई है, पूरी पिचक गई है, वहाँ से ऊपर तक पूरी पिचक गई है, रूफ भी पूरा पिचक गया, ऊपर से टॉप पूरी बॉडी ऊपर से पिचक गया है, जो सनवाइजर पूरा गाड़ी का इंजन में से ऑयल आ गया था सारा बाहर, पूरी दोनों साइड से बॉडी पिचकी है और बॉडी है, पर लकीली हमने गाड़ी टॉपल हो गई थी 2 पलटे खाने के बाद, छत नीचे थी और टायर्स ऊपर थे.
On the way back from Jaisalmer to Bikaner, the storm ran 2 stages, one of which was the legendary Thar Express. The Thar Express is a driver's delight. The navigator does not have to do much in the way of keeping the car on the road. The stage runs along the railroad between the towns of Nokra and Bap. The driver just has to floor the pedal, keep the railroad on one side of the car, and pelt through the stage as the crow flies. And that is just what they did. Mishra took the lead in the Power Pig after Rana crashed out. Hot on his heels was Speed Spot teammate Harpreet Singh Bawa. Veteran driver Niju Padia's mean-looking Pajero came in third. In the moto category, CS Santosh came flying to the finish line and made the onlookers a tad giddy with his speed. He was followed by Jess David and Mohit Verma.
Thar Express has, I don't know how the word came about, but I think it's a very apt name because it runs along a railway line. It's a stage that all of us love riding and driving. Since we found the stage, which is about 5 years ago, every year, even in the recce, we still enjoy driving that stage. It's a fast stage, it's gravel, it's mixed, it's a driver's delight. It's one place where you can tell the navigator, shut up, let me drive. Night stage was a completely new stage this time. Again, very, very fast. But this was compounded by the weather. It was pouring cats and dogs. And in addition to not being able to see and the sand, competitors were like totally in a alien world. We took a call on cancelling SS12 in response to many competitors claiming or saying, which I came to believe, is that the cars would not take any more sand.
We made it just in time for the celebrations. Abhishek Mishra, piloting Team Speed Sports Power Pig, was the first out of the stages, along with his navigator PVS Murthy. The second car to exit was also in Speed Sport colours. Harpreet Singh Bawa and Ashwin Nayak's combined experience had got them a second place finish. Niju Padia's Mitsubishi Pajero Sport was third, and he had convincingly conquered the storm.
It's a good thing that 2015 starting with a podium finish. Yes, we were looking out for a win, but then it didn't happen because the lead from the day one kept on increasing. So it's a learning experience for both of us. But then podium finish to begin the season with, and the season starting in a good way for Bawa and me. I think it's nice, the second place.
Enjoyed every bit of it, especially the competition which I had very close one with Rana Bhaiya. Unfortunately, he couldn't finish due to technical issues. But that was the best part of the rally. We fought neck to neck. Every stage, every kilometer, every meter we fought. And that was the best part of it. We kept pushing our limits. We enjoyed thoroughly.
The podium ceremony took place at the Clark Samir in Jaipur. And as the Wary cooled their heels, the trophies were awarded. In the moto category, CS Santosh took top honours for his phenomenal pace throughout the Desert Storm. Jess David and Mohit Verma came in second and third. Vijay Parmar, still in his prime, rode his KTM 6 Days edition to a third place finish in his class and a fourth place finish overall in the moto category. The Desert Storm is many things for those who are a part of it. For some, it's a challenge. For others, a yardstick. Some take it as a test of skill and will. And for some others, it's a pilgrimage to the might of the Thar Desert. We leave you with a collection of our high points from the 2015 Desert Storm Rally, so you can decide what the storm means to you.